I think that a lot of times airport hotels get a bad rap. Sometimes rightfully so, they get the bad rap. Hey there, adventurers. Welcome to Let's Just Go podcast. I'm Kayla, and today I'm talking about my recent stay at the LAX Marriott. And I realize this is probably a little niche for some people, but sometimes the best travel decision you can make is to just stay close to the airport. And that was the case for me. I had a flight at about noon out of LAX to head back to the East Coast, and I didn't want to stress about traffic getting from Anaheim to LAX because it can take a while. And I will say, if you live on the West Coast, you probably aren't going to fly into LAX unless you're doing something specifically in Los Angeles or nearby. And you'll probably fly into one of the smaller airports because there are so many airports in the area. But those of us on the East Coast, LAX, if we want a nonstop, is really the only option. And this was just a really easy choice. I really liked it. I'm actually staying there again in August for another trip because I'm not landing until almost midnight. So it makes sense to me to just stay near the airport, and then the next day I'll go get my rental car, move to the, location that I'm going to be in. But I really just wanted to showcase this hotel, let you know about it, because I think that a lot of times airport hotels get a bad rap. Sometimes rightfully so, they get the bad rap. But this for me made the most sense because of the fact that I didn't want to stress about the traffic to get to the airport. I wanted to just be close by. I knew it was a Marriott property that I've never stayed at before. And as you know, I like to check out hotels and make sure that there's someplace that I would recommend for my clients. And this is definitely one of those. So if you don't know, traffic in LA can be awful. No matter the time of day, it's bad. And this hotel actually can see the jetway, which is really cool. So the Marriott Club there is the nicest one I've ever seen. It had so much food all of the time. I made a full meal out of it. And then it actually looks out over the airport, which is really cool. And like floor to ceiling windows on the top floor of the building. Just a really neat experience. And I thought that was really great. The bed was really comfortable. The room itself was very well laid out, which I appreciated. And there was so much at the hotel, which I thought was really great. So there were a couple of restaurants. There was sort of this like ordering kiosk that operated at certain times of the day where you could order food and it would be delivered into like a little locker, which I thought was neat. There was a full Starbucks. There was actually like, I think a FedEx or UPS, something like that, in the actual hotel. I want to say there was a hair salon. Like there's just, if you need it, they've probably got it, which I thought was really cool. Sort of like an offshoot of the airport itself where you can find pretty much anything that you might need on a trip. So I really liked that. There was a shuttle to get you to and from the airport, which was great. I obviously didn't use it to get from the airport, but getting to the airport was very easy. They actually have an app that sort of shows you where the shuttles are at all times. I thought that was really great. It was very obvious where the shuttle was picking up and dropping off. I will say if you're wanting to park here, it's not cheap. It was like $70 or $80 a night to park. But there is an underground parking garage, which I thought was great because it gets a little hot in LA. It's sunny all the time. It's really a warm climate most of the year. So it's nice that it had the underground parking. Also nice is that the pool was fully surrounded by the building. So if you wanted to go for a swim, I'm assuming the sound would be dampened by that, which is nice, of the planes. But it also looked like it was in the shade for most of the day because of the fact that it had hotel rooms all around it. Really, though, it was a nice spot. I liked it. It is a big hotel. If you don't like big hotels, you may not like this one. I thought everything was really well organized. Everyone that I interacted with was really great. And like I said, this is a perfect hotel if you're wanting to be near the airport for some reason. So, you have a late flight coming in, you have an early flight going out. You're like me and you just don't want to deal with the traffic. Maybe you had a rental car and you don't want to pay for another night of having a rental car and you'd rather just return it and stay close to the airport. That's sort of what I'm doing, but the opposite. It is also a pretty quick walk to get to the train, which it's still Southern California and public transit is kind of a mess there. But it's nice that if you wanted to go hop on it, it's there. I've personally never taken it. I may do that on my next trip. But it really just logistically worked out for me. It lowered my stress level immensely, knowing that I just needed to go downstairs and get on a shuttle and that I would be to the airport quickly was really nice. Also, those shuttles are able to drop you off fast. Like they know their way around that airport. They can just sort of cut through areas that regular cars can't. And if you don't know this, at LAX, if you are taking a rideshare, you actually have to go to a different lot. Like you have to take a shuttle to a lot specifically to get picked up and dropped off for rideshares. So not a great experience at LAX in terms of that. So it's nice that if you're staying at this hotel, you can just grab the shuttle. Also, like you could potentially just grab this shuttle and then get a Lyft or an Uber from there and probably pay less than you would from the airport. Just saying. Not that I'm saying you should necessarily do that, but that is a thing that some people do. So I think it makes sense to stay here. It's going to be a little more expensive because it is a Marriott specific brand, which is one of their more elevated brands, but you're going to get a great experience. You'll have a comfortable night's sleep and you'll be close to the airport, whether that is arriving or departing. I really liked it. Like I said, I'm going to be staying there again in August. So we'll see if I still feel the same way, but I think it makes sense, especially if you have a big trip and you're coming from the East Coast and you know that you're going to get off that plane and just be like ready to be done for the day. This is a great place to be. But if you are building a trip that starts or ends at LAX and you want help figuring out those logistics, let me know. That's what I'm here for. That's exactly why I do these things, so that I can help you better plan your trips. And until next time, let's just go.